Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Watch Collector. My name's Ollie. Today we've got a manufacturer called Felipe Pikullik. This is the first time I've actually had an opportunity to have a look at one of their watches. And first impressions, I'm actually pretty excited about it. But before we get onto it, obligatory wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Chapek Antarctique in salmon 41.5mm. Felipe Pikullik, this is the Sternenhimmel model. The Maison was started in 2017, this one is a stainless steel 41mm dress watch. Now, controversial dress watch, arguably a dress watch. It should only be so classified if it's precious metal, but actually I think this works pretty damn well. The combination of the steel and the deep blue, both dial and alligator strap, is particularly impressive to me. I do like that combination. On top of that, and hopefully the camera is going to show this, it's got what's called a Prussian effect sky on the dial. So effectively akin to aventurine. And you've got your markers at 3, 6 and 9. Now, I've looked this up. I can't quite tell whether they are in fact diamonds or not, and if they are, what carat. If you know, please get in touch. I'd love to know. But it adds a femininity to the dial, which actually I don't think is too much. I'm not historically a massive fan of diamonds on watches, but I think this works very well, and it complements, as I said, this Prussian effect midnight sky on the dial. Now, one of the reasons why Felipe Pikullik is particularly well renowned in such a short space of time is the fact that what he does is, it is true, he takes ETA movements, so standard ETA movements, but then what he does is completely disassembles them and finishes them to a much higher standard. And hopefully this is going to come out so you can see this. The case back of this is pretty impressive. So it's a 40-hour power reserve, really pretty mirrored anglage finish, dark rhodium plating, and what I really like are these counter-directional snail swirls, I think is the best way to describe them. It's really, really pretty. And to have the bridges and as much of this, let's face it, pretty ubiquitous ETA movement on display with this level of finishing is really quite impressive. So let's get on the wrist and see how it wears. So 41mm, it wears actually a little larger than that. Mostly because of the weight that goes into the stainless steel, but also the lugs. They're nicely tapered, but they do provide the watch with a little bit of extra presence. What is going to be, I don't think is going to be a problem, is it falling under a cuff. So you could quite easily wear a suit and shirt with it, as I am today. And it has, even though it doesn't have the busiest dial, it does have some real presence. I also should mention that I really like the finishing on both the hands and the bezel. It's got a nice gloss to both of them, and I think it adds just that little bit of extra intrigue. You know, my initial impression of this is at around £7,000, I think it is. It's a very, very impressive entry for Felipe Pikullik into this particular sector. It's got a good balance, I would say, of German finishing and engineering, and with a little bit of, I would say, French sexiness with the dial and the inputting of those markers at 3, 6 and 9. So overall, my view is I'm pretty impressed with this, and especially that price point and the finishing on the case back. I'd really love to know what you think. That's the Felipe Pikullik Sternenhimmel 41mm.